and also members of the FPO. Sir, kindly start your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Marathi, for that wonderful piece of introduction. I think my voice is clear.
Sir, you're audible.
I'm audible, right? Okay. So yeah, this is my presentation, and then coming to the brief outline of my presentation, little bit of introduction, and then what is the status of research and development when it comes to first generation biofuels, that is for sweet sorghum, and the status of second generation biofuels, that is biomass sorghum, or also known as the high tonnage sorghum, and what are the challenges in popularizing these technologies, and what is the way forward. So I don't know whether you people are aware of the blending mandate which the government is pursuing. So we have ethanol blending mandate which started way back in 2003, and now it is continuing. So we also have a national policy on biofuels, which originally has come into existence in 2009, and that was overseen by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy that time. And the same policy has been revamped again in 2018, and this policy has been brought under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. So in the earlier policy, it was just sugarcane molasses alone, which was the main feedstock which was being used for ethanol production. So in the new policy, they have increased the scope of raw materials for this biofuel production. And for the first time, government started permitting the use of sugarcane juice, then the B-heavy and C-heavy molasses, then damaged food grains, surplus food grains, so on and so forth. And they have also set a differential pricing for the ethanol produced from different feedstocks. For example, if the ethanol is produced from sugarcane juice or sugarcane syrup or sugar itself, and the price is 63.45 per liter. Now it is revised again, 65.67 now. And B-heavy molasses based ethanol, that is 59. Now it is 59.08 per liter. Then C-heavy, similarly 46.66. So government is also providing financial support to the industry. I mean, the distilleries, if they have to increase their capacity of ethanol production, so it is also giving, it has put various interest subvention schemes through which it's encouraging the domestic production of ethanol. So we have actually crossed 10% blending now. I don't know whether you people are aware, whatever petrol we are buying from outside in the petrol bunks, which are owned by various oil marketing companies like HPCL, BPCL, IOCL. So that petrol is blended with ethanol. So currently we are at 11% blending. So, but seeing this progress, our government has put a target of 20% blending by 2025. That is, in the next 2 years, we have to reach this percentage of blending. So at the moment in the country, the molasses or sugar-based installed distillation capacity is around 5.2 billion liters. And similarly for grain-based ethanol production, it is around 2.5. So in total, when you add both of them, at the moment in our country, we have a capacity to produce 7.75 billion liters of ethanol production. So by 2025, we might be needing approximately 13 to 14 billion liters. And from that, 10 billion liters alone is needed for the ethanol blending, that is 20% blending. And the rest is needed by other industries like potable alcohol, then chemicals and other industries. So ethanol is definitely going to be a driving factor, and it would be a very good opportunity for the industry to earn more profits. And also many of the sugar factories or sugar industries have excess production of sugar, and they'll be hoarding this sugar. So if they start diverting this sugarcane juice into ethanol production, or they can utilize the existing surpluses of sugar to ethanol production, they'll be earning a lot. I mean, and in this table, you can just see during 2013-14, the blending, what we have achieved is 1.53%. So similarly, 15-16, we reached around 3.5 billion, 3.5% blending, and 2021, 8.5% blending. So currently we are at 11% blending. And similarly, if you see the production of ethanol, the domestic production of ethanol and also some imports. So 2013-14, it was 38 crore liters. That was the production, and dramatically it rose in a span of 6 to 7 years. If you see 2019-20, we have reached 173 crore liters of ethanol production. And 2021, similarly, it surged to 332 crore liters. So this is all happening because of the favorable policies of Government of India, and it is supporting the ethanol production. So it ultimately wants to cut down the imports so that it gives a boost to the domestic production of ethanol, and we can save a lot of foreign exchange by doing so. So here you can see the projected demand and supply. So by 2025-26, so from sugar sector, that is from the sugar crop, sugarcane, sugar beet, or whatever it is. So fuel ethanol around 550 crore liters is expected. And similarly from the food grains around 466. So total supply here would be 1016 crore liters or 10 billion liters. For other uses, again, you can see from sugar sector 134 crore liters, and then 200 crore liters from food grains. Then total supply from other sectors other than sugar sector, it would be 334 crore liters. So here now I would like to draw your attention. Sugarcane in our country is grown in around 5 million hectares, and you can't increase the area of sugarcane because of many reasons. Like sugarcane is an agriculturally input intensive crop. It needs more of water. It's a 12-month-old crop, electricity, and water guzzler. Then a lot of inputs are needed. So in other words, the cost of cultivation for sugarcane will be a little bit higher, approximately around 2 lakhs per hectare per season. So, and the area under the sugarcane is mostly volatile because it has a competition from other crops, that is the competing crops, and this is a function of the water availability. So there is, seeing all these drawbacks, there is every need that we should go for other feedstocks, that is alternate feedstocks. So biofuel crops like sorghum, which includes both sweet sorghum and the other sorghum, that is biomass sorghum, they come to our rescue. So I think earlier speakers, because your training started a couple of days back, I think you must have somebody must have explained you what are all the different types of sorghums, what are being cultivated in our country. And nevertheless, I'll just quickly run through. The first one is grain sorghum. Here you can see the dwarf one, which is basically used for the grains, which are used for roti and other uses. Then you have the forage sorghum, which is valued for its nutrition and palatability. Here you have single cut and multi cut, and the next speaker, I think he's going to talk about the forage sorghum. Then you have the dual purpose sorghum, which is valued both for the grain and fodder. And then there is another category called energy sorghums, where you have one is the sweet sorghum and the other is biomass sorghum. Biomass sorghum is basically a high tonnage sorghum, or it grows very tall growing sorghum. And here biomass is very important. It is used for second generation ethanol production or the cellulosic ethanol. And sweet sorghum is similar to sugarcane, that it accumulates sugars in the stalk. The juice will be very sweet. So this juice is fermented for ethanol production. And besides this juice, it also produces grains. So this is an additional advantage which you don't have in sugarcane. And then here you can see what are all the different types of uses from one single crop, sweet sorghum. Here you can see the grains. The grains can be, these can be fermented to produce ethanol. Here what I would like to emphasize is whatever are the surpluses. First, after meeting your food demand, whatever is the surplus, that surplus can be diverted for ethanol production. And similarly, the juice, once it is squeezed out of the stalks, that can be utilized to produce ethanol and other high value industrial chemicals. And you can also produce ready to serve drinks. And once you squeeze out the juice, what is left is the bagasse. The bagasse, it contains both the C5 and C6 sugars, and this can be utilized for power generation, and it also can be utilized in production of animal feed blocks. And this bagasse is very rich in micronutrients and minerals, and it's a very good source of animal feed. And this bagasse can also be utilized for production of the cellulosic ethanol, that is the second generation biofuel. So, and here you can see the schematic representation. Like what are all the different uses of sweet sorghum. It can be utilized for 1G ethanol and also 2G ethanol production. Then here you can see the characteristics of sweet sorghum as a crop. Unlike sugarcane, it has a shorter duration, just 4 months crop compared to 1 year in sugarcane. And it is climate resilient. It also tolerates, the various biotic and the abiotic stresses like high temperatures, then drought, and and it's suitable for cultivation in rain-fed dry lands. And farmers are very very much aware of this crop because sorghum, it is also sorghum, which is grown across the length and breadth of the country. And we have cultivars of variable maturities. So we have early maturing, we have medium maturing, and we also have the late maturing crops. And it is seed propagated. What is important, it is seed propagated, whereas sugarcane, it is set propagated. And the ethanol, what is it? The ethanol which is produced from sweet sorghum, the process is eco-friendly, and the quality of ethanol is also very high compared to the ethanol produced from sugarcane molasses. It has a high octane rating. And this crop is very much compatible with the sugar industry. That is, it can be crushed with the existing sugarcane machinery and no need of any capital expenditure. And bagasse, already I told you, very high biological value. And then it can be used in the cogeneration, to generate the power in the factory, sugar factory. And sweet sorghum is also known as the sugarcane of the desert. It's also called the camel among crops for its all the drought hardy characteristics. So here you can see the important characteristics of sweet sorghum. Fresh stock yields, that is the millable cane yield, ranges between 40 to 50 tons per hectare in Kharif and summer. And the bricks content, that is the TSS, ranges between 60 to 20% in the rainy season or the Kharif season sweet sorghum. Then reducing sugars 2 to 4, sucrose, that is the non-reducing sugars, ranges between 8 to 15. Juice extraction 40 to 60, and in a small mill, whereas if you go for a big mill, that is a very big sugar factories, the juice extraction percentage would be 70 to 90%. And juice yield also ranges between 16,000 to 18,000 liters per hectare. And here you can see the bagasse yield, 5 to 7 tons on a dry wet basis and 12 to 18% on wet basis. So coming to the industrial rates, industrial yields, ethanol recovery, it is 6 to 9% of the juice yield. And from our trials, we could see that the ethanol yield was ranging between 1,400 to 2,000 liters per hectare from a single season of 4 months. And power can also produce. Some factory has produced power from the sweet sorghum bagasse, 2.5 to 3.5 megawatts per hectare of crop can be produced. So here a simple comparison: sugarcane, almost 12 months of duration, whereas sweet sorghum, it is just 4 months. And the water requirement here, you can see sugarcane approximately 32,000 cubic meters, whereas sweet sorghum, it is just 8,000 cubic meters on a comparative time scale. And cultivation of cost of cultivation here, 2 lakhs per hectare per season for sugarcane, whereas 30 to 35,000 per hectare per season for sweet sorghum. So these are some of the juice characteristics comparison of sweet sorghum juice versus sugarcane juice. So almost similar to that, purity 70 to 90 in sweet sorghum, whereas 90 to 98 in sugarcane. So here, one thing what is important is you can't produce crystal sugar, the white sugar which you can produce from sugarcane, because of the presence of aconitic acid and starch content in sweet sorghum. So sweet sorghum juice cannot be utilized for production of crystal sugar. And this is, here you can see the juice characteristics. Then this is syrup making. How you can make or produce syrup from sweet sorghum juice. This maybe I can share later. Then here a simple comparison of the sweet sorghum syrup versus the commercially available honey. So I would like to draw your attention here. This sweet sorghum syrup is very rich in minerals and vitamins. So here you can see a comparison of this. Actually, Madura is a commercially available sweet sorghum syrup. This is being marketed by an NGO based in Maharashtra in the name of Nimkar Agricultural Research Institute. So they have been producing this syrup and then they were marketing it. So here they have compared with honey. So here you can see, what are all the advantages this sweet sorghum syrup has when compared to the commercially available honey. So calcium, it is high. higher than honey, then phosphorus, then riboflavin, vitamin C, nicotinic acid, iron is also high, and all those things. Potassium will be very high in the sweet sorghum juice. So one company by name Green Petal based at Vijayawada, they have produced this. They have established a plant exclusively for sweet sorghum, and they produce this sweet sorghum cane sweetener. This is nothing but the sweet sorghum syrup, but due to some issues, now they were in the process of relocating to another state. Then here you can see what literature says, like ethanol yields from sweet sorghum. So the highest ethanol yield, what can be obtained from sweet sorghum from 1 hectare is 13,000 liters. So 13,000 liters into for juice-based ethanol, now it is 65 rupees. 65 rupees into 13,000. And you can just imagine what is the potential of this crop with just 30 to 35,000 rupees cost of cultivation. So this figure comes when you add the ethanol from the grain, then the cellulose, that is the bagasse-based ethanol, and also the juice. So from one plant, you have so many routes. That is, first one is the juice-based. From juice, you can produce ethanol. From the bagasse, you can produce ethanol, and also from the grains. So coming to the current thrust in the national program, like at IIMR, what we are doing, we are in the process of development of high biomass and high sugar yielding sweet sorghum varieties and hybrids with all the desired levels of tolerances to pests and diseases. This is basically towards first generation ethanol production. And with respect to the second generation ethanol production, we are in the process of development of low lignin and high biomass sweet sorghums by using the low lignin conferring genes like brown midrib 6 and brown midrib 12 genes. And then we are crossing this with, here you can see, usually the sorghum midrib will be white in color or green in color. This is a particular mutant called the brown midrib mutant, wherein the midrib will be brown in color. So the stalks also will be brown. When you remove the leaf and leaf sheath, stalks will be brown. This is the normal sorghum. So the beauty of this particular genotype is that it has less lignin, some 15 to 20% less lignin than the other types of sorghum, the normal types of sorghum. So this is very much useful in second generation biofuel production. And also this is a very good source of animal feed, like because of less lignin, the digestibility of this type of fodder will be very high, and the anticipated milk and meat yields will be very high when you feed this type of fodder. So we're also working on development of photo and thermoinsensitivity, and also development of high value chemicals like lactic acid, xylitol. We are in the initial stages now. And also we are trying on increasing the shelf life of sweet sorghum. So unlike sugarcane, where you can cut sugarcane and then leave the stalks for 5-6 days or near the factory for 1 week, nothing happens in sugarcane. But in sweet sorghum, we have a problem of storage, like it can't be stored for longer periods because this stem is very delicate. So, and also we have a problem called inversion of sugars in sweet sorghum. The invertase enzyme will be very active, high. I mean, the activity of this enzyme will be very high, and it breaks down sucrose into glucose and fructose. So we have to crush the sweet sorghum within 48 hours. So coming to the technologies, what we have at IIMR, these are all the released hybrids and varieties, and you can see the yield levels here. CSS, these are all the hybrids, CSS22SS, Fule Vasundhara, and RVI CS28. These are all the hybrids, and you can see the yield levels down, cane yields, and then the juice yields, and also the bricks percent. And coming to the varietal technologies, what we have is 384, 74, 19SS. Then we have 24SS, then the latest release, that is CSV49SS. So, and CSV52SS, this is the latest one, which has been released and notified during 2023, this year only. And here you can see the yield levels of this particular variety. And then IIMR with its partners like ICAR-IIMR and several state agricultural universities, we have conducted many pilot scale studies with the sugar industries to promote sweet sorghum. So these are all, the sugar industries with whom we have collaborated and done the pilot scale studies. And what we could observe is 35 to 50 liters of ethanol per ton of the sweet sorghum cane crushed. This was the range what we got from these pilot scale studies. So coming to the other partners with whom we have liaised off late, EID Parry, And then Madhukan sugars, these are from, the first one is from Andhra Pradesh, second one is from Telangana. And then, yeah, this was in IAD Paris, Srikakulam. So this is the mill management. So we test a range of materials in their premises, and then we try to identify the particular cultivar which is giving up high yields in their premises or in their region, so that we can promote that particular cultivar. For example, here EAD Pari SSV74 was the promising variety, and we also collaborated with the sugar industry by name Ganesh Sugars, which was located at Gujarat, Bharuch district, and then they have also tested sweet sorghum. And juice extraction here was 88%, then bricks content almost like sugarcane 17.3. And then lot of the sugar industries, they actually had an apprehension that if you go for sweet sorghum, you need to have some extra machinery. So we have, cleared their doubts, and then without changing a single nut and bolt, we could demonstrate to them that sweet sorghum can be crushed with the existing sugarcane machinery. And this is sweet sorghum juice, the green one, which is coming out in the crushers in the sugar factory. Then we have demonstrated these technologies in Uttar Pradesh, then Tamil Nadu. These are Kisan Sahakari Chini Mills and Salem Cooperative Sugars. And observation from these farmer trials, we could see that with very good management, you can get an yield of maximum yield of 25 to 28 tons. Even if you take 25 tons, 25 plus 25, 50 plus 12.5, 60 to 70 tons per hectare, like sugarcane, you get the stock yield from sweet sorghum. This is that what I want to tell you is that the potential yields what we have. So with very good management, this crop can yield like sugarcane, and bricks content was also very good. And primary bricks was very close to sugarcane, and there was absolutely no difficulties post when we go for fermentation or distillation with the sweet sorghum juice. So here you can see these are the lorries which are carrying the sweet sorghum stocks. This is in Gujarat, our industrial trial. Yeah, these are some recent partners. Godavari Biorefineries in Karnataka. So we have conducted a small mill test, and then there also SSV74 was promising. And then we have entered into a 5-year MOU with the National Sugar Institute, which is the apex body for sugar factories in the country. They actually deal with the sugar standards. So this we are using, we actually have collaborated with them to promote sweet sorghum, because sugar industries, they report to NSI, National Sugar Institute, which is located in Kanpur. So we are jointly conducting some trials at NSI Kanpur and also the sugar factories. So here you can see this is our 22S is our hybrid. You can see the thickness of the stalk like sugarcane. So this was crushed in National Sugar Institute premises. They have an experimental sugar factory. And then, yeah, here you can see, their ethanol unit, the distillation, the ethanol fermentation unit, then the distillation unit, and this is the laboratory crusher. And here, this is the practically produced ethanol. And then here you can see, these are the results. These are the results from trials at National Sugar Institute. So the last column, what I would like to put before you is the ethanol yields, that is the liter per hectare. From this hybrid 22SS, we could get 2,780 liters per hectare of ethanol. Then Vasundhara, 2,837 liters of ethanol per hectare. And then here you can see the stock yields. So these are the results from our joint trials at National Sugar Institute. Then we are trying to promote sweet sorghum as a return crop with sugarcane. Once the sugarcane is cut, then this can be sugarcane to sugar cone. The interrow spacing would be almost 1 meter. So that can be utilized, and you can plant 2 rows of sweet sorghum in between. And here you can see these 2 rows of sweet sorghum in between sugarcane 2 rows. Here this is sugarcane, this is sugarcane, these 2 are the sweet sorghum. This is in Balrampur Chini Mills in Uttar Pradesh. This trial is an ongoing trial. Then coming to the economics, these are all just indicative economics. So what we we have put is a cost of cultivation for sweet sorghum is approximately 35,000 rupees per hectare. So assuming a cane yield of 50 tons per hectare, and if the sugar industry gets into a buyback arrangement with them, and then offering a price of 2,000 rupees per ton, so the cane revenue would be 1 lakh rupees. And similarly, grain will be an additional this thing for them, and the grain yield approximately 2 tons per hectare is the anticipated yield, and farmer is going to get another 25 rupees per kg, and the gross grain revenue would be 50,000 rupees. So the gross income from 1 hectare would be 1,50,000, and if you see here, the net income at paid out cost would be 1,30,000, and net income at total cost would be 1,15,000. Output input ratio at paid out cost 7.5, and at total cost it would be 4.28. So coming to the industry level economics, so assuming a price of 65.61 for which is offered per liter of ethanol by the distilleries. So for assuming an ethanol yield of 50 liters per ton into 50 tons per hectare, 2,500 liters of ethanol, and the gross revenue would be 1,64,000 for the industry. And here you can see these are the 1 lakh he would be paying to the farmer, and then the processing cost of ethanol production per hectare would be 15,000. So total cost of processing would be 1 lakh. Total cost would be raw material plus processing cost 1,15,000. So per liter ethanol production cost would be 46 rupees. And then the net income what the industry would be getting would be 19.61 per liter. These are all indicative. So we go on, to several sugar factories and explaining them the potential uses of sweet sorghum, and then they can utilize this crop during the lean period of sugarcane crushing. And coming to the 2G ethanol production, that is biomass sorghum. So this is also similar to sweet sorghum, but it grows very tall, and it has a productivity of dry 20 tons, more than 20 tons of dry biomass. Then we have cultivars with variable maturities, and we have hybrids, and hybrid technology is in place. And then here you can see the theoretical ethanol yields per hectare. What are the anticipated yields, what is reported in literature. So these are some practical, this is from the literature where in Spain, they have practically produced the ethanol from this type of feedstock. So more than 400 liters per ton of the biomass they have reported. And coming to the 2G scenario in India, you might be aware that oil marketing companies, they are going to establish 12 plants. This is basically to tackle the problem of paddy straw burning in northern India. So Indian Oil Corporation has built Asia's first 2G plant at Panipat, Haryana, with a total cost of more than 900 crores. And this plant was dedicated to the nation by Honorable Prime Minister last year on August 10th, which happens to be the World Biofuels Day. And then this is operational now. Then here you can see other oil companies are also putting up plants in various parts of India. So we are also working on this high biomass sorghums, and here you can see this is all India trial data, wherein we are getting the dry biomass tons of more than 20 tons per hectare. And then bricks content also here you can see more than 15%. And then here you can see the ethanol yield levels of our varieties and hybrids, which we have developed more than 300 for most of the entries, 300 liters per ton. Then this is CSH47, which we have released for ethanol production. And here you can see the expected ethanol yield is around 10,000 liters per hectare. So this has a fresh biomass yield of 65 to 70 tons per hectare, and a dry biomass yield of 25 to 30 tons per hectare. And this is the hybrid, and we also have a variety CSV48, fresh biomass yield of 55 to 60 tons, and the dry biomass yield of 20 to 25 tons per hectare. And here also expected ethanol yield is around 7,300 liters per hectare. This is a variety. And you have several environmental benefits with sweet sorghum. So this sweet sorghum based ethanol can reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by more than 70%. So this is the sweet sorghum based bioenergy calendar which we have developed. So basically November to March is the crushing period of sugarcane, this pink one. So if you take up sweet sorghum during January, this comes up for harvesting during May. And if you take sowing of sweet sorghum during May or June, it comes up for harvesting during September, October. So in other words, these 7 months, which are otherwise happen to be lean period of sugarcane, you are giving some scope to utilize this lean period of sugarcane crushing, and this 3 months, 2 or 3 months, it would be additional income for the sugar industry and also the sugarcane. The sugarcane farmers which have additional land, and then they can grow sweet sorghum. So I think these are not much value. Okay, so coming to the challenges, sweet sorghum is also listed as a candidate crop for biofuel production in our national policy on biofuels, but there is no clear-cut roadmap. It is only just for namesake they have written it in the Gazette, but there is no clear-cut roadmap on how to go about, how to commercialize it. And many of the sugar factories are also not aware about the complementarity of sweet sorghum with sugarcane. Then mechanization is also not there in sweet sorghum, and we have several pests and diseases. The major one is the biotic stresses, in which we have sorghum stem borer, then storage losses, already I have told. Then what is the way forward? So commercialization of sweet sorghum is possible with all the required support, the policy support from Government of India. Then we have to create awareness about this crop with the two apex bodies of sugar industry, that is ISMA, Indian Sugar Mills Association, and also the National Federation of Cooperative Sugar Factories. Then mechanization is the need of the hour. And then we have to promote the cultivation of this sweet sorghum in non-traditional areas, and integration of 1G and 2G technologies, that is first generation and second generation. And then sweet sorghum juice can also be mixed with sugarcane molasses. This is one study by our partner. So 40% of sweet sorghum juice and 60% sugarcane molasses. This has given the highest ethanol yield. And these are some of the publications on sweet sorghum from our institute. And this is one latest publication. And I think, yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. If you have any quick queries, I'll answer. This is my email. You can get back to me. If somebody is really interested on sweet sorghum, you can write to me, umakanth@millets.res.in. And my mobile number is also there. Malti, I'm done.